If you welcome to the stage Alistair Houghton, who's going to tell us about the secret streets above our heads.
Good evening, everyone. So you often think of archaeology as being about things below your feet, historic civilizations emerging from modern cities. There's a unique form of archaeology you can do in Liverpool. You can look up at piss-stained holes above Wetherspoons, and you can see the remains of a city in the sky that was once going to be our future. This is all about the so-called walkways in the sky, which is a network of walkways above buildings and on streets across the city centre. I'm going to give you a tour of what it used to be like using echo pictures and tell you all about what went wrong. It all started in the 1960s, unsurprisingly, around the time of the infamous Shankland plan. This is the Liverpool city centre plan. It wanted the city to be inspired by old architecture that was robust, manly, and never timid, and said there was no place left in the city for timidity, banality, or vulgarity. We'll see if that worked out. The big idea was to have a network of aerial walkways and bridges going through the city centre. The Echo in December 1967 said the James Street walkway will mean that walkers and vehicles are no longer in thrombotic contention in the heart of Liverpool. It sounds wacky, but it wasn't just Liverpool. Newcastle tried it. This is Minneapolis, the replacement to a brilliant band with a song called Skyway, all about the walkways of Minneapolis. There's 9.5 miles of walkway in Minneapolis, so it can work. Did it work here? We shall see. Liverpool had to get its own Act of Parliament to make this happen. This is the Liverpool Corporation Act 1969. James Street Walkway opened quite soon afterwards. They're the design standards to make sure they all link together. I'm going to start our tour of one of the very first walkways and one of the very first to disappear. You'll all remember this one. This is the Churchill Way. I love this walkway. That's a Concrete Society 1971 award. It was an award-winning walkway. It served the purpose right up to the end because it linked various bits of LJMU together. But it's gone now. That lovely spiral went with it as well, which is a bit of a shame. The whole flyover was condemned. This is the Rose Street Gyratory. That was also the very first image we saw. That's Queen Square. This was never popular. In the 90s, the Echo wanted it to be pulled down. They quoted a guy saying the bridge was littered with filth and graffiti, and people didn't use it anyway. And the Echo celebrates its front page in 1992 like that. Those walkways lead to St John's Shopping Centre. There's a lot of reasons, frankly, why St John's is an ugly building, but the walkways are some of them. And there's still down there. That is where the walkway once was over Queen Square. There's still quite a bit of it still visible. The first walkway plan was this one. It took ages to find this picture, actually, in the Echo archive. That's a walkway over James Street. It's unrecognisable now, but all the infrastructure, that hole over Wetherspoons is at the right-hand side there. That's over the Wetherspoons. It's still there to this day. And there's a map here to illustrate this area a bit more. And that circle there illustrates that there. That's a remaining walkway in the sky on the side street at the back of James Street Station. A genuine remaining walkway in the sky. And if you go behind the Crown Courts, there's an office block there, you'll see a walkway over a car park. Here you go. It's actually quite well designed, despite looking, well, filthy now. And there's that slightly weird step down to the Strand there as well. You're probably starting to see already, I think, where it all went wrong. The most famous survivor of the system was the Strand Walkway, and that survived until 2007. The Echo called it a mugger's alley in 1979. The Daily Post quoted someone as saying, 3 of our staff at the Cunard building were mugged by half a dozen children who were expert at the job. There's a thread on Skyscraper City, by the way, which says that the walkway over James Street was one for snogging girls. So different opinions, depends what you want, doesn't it? This is the Atlantic Thistle Hotel. That is a bar themed around a vintage railway carriage that now looks out over an abandoned walkway in the sky that doesn't exist below a hotel that's built to look like a ship. The 60s were quite a trip, weren't they? This is Richmond House. This is where 20 Chapel Street now is. You can see the walkways around it. That's the Royal Sun Alliance headquarters in the background. You can still see a sign for Empire Bridge. The sign is still there, if you go there now. And that there's a map I'm going to use here which explains it. That Ignite logo there, if you know the Echo glass atrium on Old Hall Street, massive glass atrium, that's where that was. All it was a load of ramps linking up to the Royal Sun Alliance building and behind it to the most intriguing surviving bit where that yellow line is, the walkway, which the public just can't get to anymore. These are still here. These are complete abandoned streets in the sky, just up above your heads. Don't try and get there now, it's all closed off and the Home Office are in the building. But I took a tour there when the Echo was still there. Just amazing sort of weird abandoned spaces. This is Old Hall Street. bridge across the Echo in the far distance, this bridge here to Moorfield Station, you can still see the steps through it there. It raises the question, why would you go up on the walkway when you can literally just cross the road, as these people are doing? And by the way, the walkways explain one of the biggest mysteries of Liverpool. Why in Moorfield do you have to go upstairs, go into underground station? Because they were going to build a walkway linking to it there, and that's why you have to do it. Anyway, the Chamber of Commerce in 1979 said the walkways needed to be built so they could be so busy that they would never be infested with muggers and vandals. It didn't happen, sadly enough, so we never had walkways, and we also never all wore carrier bags on our heads and wandered around concrete. The Daily Post said very simply in 1979, when Church had been pedestrianised, pedestrianisation is cheaper than walkways. But all of this hopefully shows why a hole above Wetherspoons is a portal into your past. Thank you very much.